Hey guys, VoyMonk here, doing a video voiceover. It's been a little while since I've done one of these, and I thought in recent events, meaning that I've been changing the channel in terms of the way that I overall deliver content, I felt this was probably the most appropriate time to maybe do one of these. For the most part, I've been kind of playing with little bit of differences in terms of the background. I haven't necessarily recorded as much in terms of how that would be realized as far as the channel, but for the most part, what you'll notice, and you've probably known now that I'm moving from a weekly Monday through Friday schedule to a once a week every Wednesday at 7 Pacific Standard Time. But more than that, I've tried to concentrate a little bit better into making these video voiceovers and, more importantly, the video voice vlogs a little bit better in terms of its format and structure and that kind of thing or whatever. Now, you know that, of course, I've said throughout the almost 200 of these different vlogs and 220 different pieces of content that I don't do edits, that what you hear, what you see, I guess, and what you hear is what you get. But for the most part, I try to make sure that everything that I do is as authentic as possible. Be that as it is, I have some things that I have to contend with in terms for myself. I do these vlogs for myself for the most part, and you know that if you followed along. But in terms of what I present, in terms of its visibility and what other people see, and hopefully what can actually maybe help other people. Like I said, I'm not here to preach and teach or coach or anything like that. But if these can be used as kind of a map and a template for others who want to do the same thing, then again, all around wholly, I want to make sure that these are to the best of my ability without straying away from that commitment to not being an influencer or editing myself or putting on digital makeup or something like that. So when you hear these voice vlogs or you hear any other kind of voice content on this channel, that's going to be the spirit of what it's always been about and what these changes are all about. And I wanted to make sure that I made that clear because, quite frankly, doing with less and trying to do more, it kind of opens up a lot of different opportunities. And sometimes that gets a little bit daunting, especially on this end. I deal with a lot of struggles, and I've talked about that as well. But I think what I can speak to for the most part is that if you do vlogging or you do content, I think in any capacity, and I don't think that I produce at all in a high capacity. I literally am just recording my voice and talking to you and speaking from the heart and what's on my mind. And that's the inspiration. That's what vlogging for me is. But on top of that, I think for the most part, when producing and creating these, there's a part of me that as I listen to these back and listen to these along with you as I do them, I want to make improvements. I want to do things that I think not only chart and, are markers for myself in terms of my own progress and the things that I do, but I also want them to, be things that if you're listening, you can also see those things for yourself. But the way that I've been doing things probably, I'd say, since maybe 177 now, in terms of the vlogs, is I've tried to go towards more, not necessarily a scripted format, but I've tried to kind of incorporate a little bit in terms of some better tools in terms of what I want to say and how I want to say it and that kind of thing. And there's some stumbling blocks because, again, I don't edit, but I also don't do scripts. And that being said, I know that there's some things that I do these off the cuff. I do these when I hit the record button. I don't necessarily really know what it is I'm going to say or how I'm going to say it. Sometimes, a lot of times, most times, there are occasions that I have something that I'll think, hey, you know what, I want to do a vlog about that, and then I'll kind of note it down, and then I'll produce, or I'll make those vlogs. But the thing that kind of becomes a barrier for me, at least a little bit, is the fact that I have ADHD, and my mind constantly fires all the time, different ideas and different things that I want to do. Not just the vlogs, but content and being creative and all that kind of thing. And if you're listening to this and you kind of know what I'm talking about, maybe that makes sense. I don't know. But in these vlogs that I'm doing now, which are once a week every Wednesday, I've kind of tried to at least cut them a little bit closer to at least trying to lean in a little bit more towards, like I said, less production, but more organized, maybe a little bit better in terms of content overall, as far as my endeavor to get better and to improve. And for the most part, I can honestly say I'm failing as much as I'm succeeding, meaning that even at the point that I've made over 200 of these, and I'm close to 200 vlogs, it's still a learning process, and there's still things that, while I make mistakes and always endeavor to make improvements each vlog, I'm still making I'm still doing things that I don't necessarily like, things that I'll try and I'll go, maybe that doesn't land quite as well as I would like it to. So with that being said, I think it's important for me to kind of more or less do something like this with a video voiceover, where I can touch base. And while this maybe would be better suited for maybe an update or something like that, and if it was just a straight update, information on the channel or whatever that I thought or felt needed to go outside of the way that I've already kind of updated, which is through the vlogs and what I'm producing now in terms of the channel as far as what content I'm making. There's still quite a bit I want to do for this channel, and a lot of things that I still have ideas and things like that for. But if you notice the changes in terms of the way that I produce these, you'll notice not only are they going to be once a week every Wednesday at 7 p.m., but I've tried out different mic setups because I'm trying to do that. I've also, created not necessarily scripts, but like kind of cue cards, things that I've kind of noted down that I want to speak to and about. And, that has, at least in my view, kind of led to me feeling a little bit less natural in some ways than the way that I'm talking now, which is a lot more fluid. And that is mostly because I'm kind of reading a little bit, not totally, but reading a bit while I'm doing it at the same time. And I have to kind of, I got to find that compromise, at least for myself, in terms of where I want to be when making these, meaning making enough so that I'm doing the kind of content that I want to be doing in terms of, not like I said, I shouldn't say just content in terms of I'm producing a show or something like that, but, these are vlogs. These are things that are on my mind that, I'm making points that, throughout my life, experiences that I'll share that, I kind of like to do that in a way that when I'm looking back or listening back to these, they make as much sense to me. They make sense to me as much as I'd want them to make sense and to work in terms of anyone who's listening, and of course enjoys and maybe wants to do this for themselves. I hope that makes sense. So like I said, I've decided to do this video voiceover because I felt that it would help in terms of the overall visibility for this channel, and kind of letting anyone who's listening, and it's a slow burn. And like I said, I don't fancy myself an influencer. I'm not chasing algorithms and things like that to become popular. But I definitely would like to touch base. I'd like to have others who, are on the same journey, who maybe want to share and who want to engage and that kind of thing. And so I think outside of what are the typical motivations, I think that's a genuine and a real motivation. And if you're listening to this, hopefully that makes sense, because I think YouTube can be fun for a lot of different things and a lot of different reasons. But for me, I like the human connection and nature and the real individuals that maybe don't seem like they know what they're doing compared to some, God, since 2008, some of the more professional YouTubers and stuff like that. I'm not a professional. Like I said, I am just a guy doing a channel, doing vlogs and sharing my experiences and having a time and enjoying doing it and trying to find a way to be the best I can at it and to make myself satisfied and happy. So hopefully that makes sense if you're listening. And quite frankly, since I've started doing these almost a year ago, I have to say there are, certainly improvements in ways that I'm speaking, things that I've done that I've liked, but I've stumbled along the way, and I will continue to, because again, this is me. This is part of me creating, and, part of that journey as far as, us obviously sharing at the same time. These are produced, obviously they're made to go on YouTube, and, I'm sharing this with others. Hopefully that, you're subscribing and people who also do vlogs and want to engage. And so by doing that, do that as an authentic and as real and not contrived way as possible, without emotionally dumping and begging money and all the other things that are just, about selling or, coaching other people. This is a place you can just listen, let your hair down, sit back, relax, and hopefully share the experiences. So that's the VoyMonk channel, and that's what this is for me, and hopefully for you too. So hopefully you enjoyed this video voiceover on the VoyMonk channel. And like I said, who knows? Actually, I haven't done this in a while, but and I primarily did video voiceovers because when I did the VoyMonk vlogs, I kind of kept them between 5 and 10 minutes unless they were on Fridays. And then I maybe went, 15, 20, 25 minutes. But video voiceovers have always just been more of they're relaxed like the vlogs, but I felt like they were kind of complementary in terms of, maybe ideas or things that I'm expressing or experiences and that kind of thing. And since I haven't done one of these in a little while, kind of forgot how fun they can be and how much, how cathartic and kind of therapeutic this whole entire journey can be, but especially speaking like this to those who knows who you are that could be listening. So, but yeah, that's what I wanted to get out. I felt, with the changes that I made since 177 and, through the progression of this channel over time, and hopefully if, like I said, if you're listening to this for the very first time, I have lots of different content and things that I've shared. Much of it maybe seems very redundant, not very good, not whatever. But if you do vlogs, or this is something that, you're interested in doing yourself, maybe there's something there for you to, look at it and criticize it and, take it in for what it is, obviously. But, maybe there's things that you want to engage and share and do yourself. And so, like I said, I definitely encourage that on here. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to do with this video voice over, and I've done it. I've got more to come, and this, like I said, maybe it could have been just more of an update I just really wanted to, like I said, touch base on this channel and make sure that if you're listening, and whether it's you come along for the ride or you're just joining, welcome. Thanks for listening. Take care.